All right, so our next operation is going to be to make some windows. We'll go to the layer property manager. We want a layer for windows. And you can pick a color that looks good to you. Okay, we'll set the window layer current. And then let's work on the symbol that's going to become a window. So how about we do this? How about we draw a line 3 feet long. And then we're going to go up 6 inches and over 2 inches and up 2 inches. Okay, so that was 3 foot long. Three feet. And then 6 inches, and then 2 inches. Okay, and we'll do this. We will mirror the left side to the right side at the midpoint. One more time. That's more better. Okay, and then our last step will be to close the gap. So now what on earth is it that we just drew here? Well, this is the part of the window that fits into the wall. This would be the inside of the room. This would be the outside of the building. And this little lip on the outside here is called the sill. It's the wooden strip at the very bottom of the window. Sometimes, you know, it's wide and people put like a little planter on it or a flower pot. Okay, or maybe your cat hops up out on there and sits on the window, meowing to come in. So this is the basic form of the window. And then we're going to do this. We're going to go to the middle here and draw a line. And then we're going to do a little offset of ½ inch, offset ½ inch up, offset ½ inch down, delete the center line. And this is representative of the glass pane and sash inside the window, right? So, simple little symbol. We're going to probably use it over and over and over again. We're going to use it several times on this drawing because there are several windows in this project. So what we're going to do is, instead of having to select everything every time and wondering, oh, did I get all of it? Let's just make a group. We'll turn our window into a group. All right, and now I've got it in a group. You can tell it's a group because it has a white gray box around it and a grip in the very center. Let's talk about where these windows are going to go. Okay, if we look in our drawing here, our sketch, I've got a window on the center of each interior wall in each room. And then from the door to the corner in the center, and from the door to the corner. You know what? I don't like this. I want to move this over. Boss just called up and said, hey, move that over a little bit, okay, to the center. So, how are we going to do it? Well, we'll do it the same way we did earlier. We will find the center. And then we're going to do an offset. Offset, 1'6" to the left, 1'6" to the right. Find the midpoint. Offset, 1'6" up. 1'6", 1'6" up, 1'6" down. And then, you know, after you do a couple of these, we can use the magic of mirroring to do the rest. I will take this one and mirror it to the other room. I'll take this one and mirror it to the other side. And then I will take this one and this one and this one and this one and mirror them down to the bottom. And there we go. There's just a fast, easy way to get some windows in. And you know what? If they're not in the dead center, it's fine too. You know, we're not splitting the atom here. We're just trying to draw some quick doors and windows. All right. So We erase the openings where the windows are going to go. And then we'll take our group and we will move it into position. So we move it so that the inside corner is down here. And then if you wanted to, you can just go around and copy, copy, copy. Right. And you can even use mirror once you get your top ones done. Except now we've kind of busted up, so I don't know if they're going to land. Are they going to land in the right place? Let's see. Oh, yes. Look at that, huh? Awesome. And then we'll have to at least copy one more, because this one needs to be rotated into position. 90 degrees. I'll stick this back here. I'll copy it from the corner there to the corresponding corner there. And we'll mirror. And it looks like everything landed in the right place. Things look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so take a look at our sketch. We've got walls, doors, and windows. Now, these are permanent members of the structure. These are things that you don't take when you move, right? So they are drawn as part of the set of construction drawings. Take a look on our sketch. What else are we working with? Well, we're working with a kitchen, and this line here represents the countertop. On a drawing that would show the entire building or the entire house if we're doing a residence, the detail level is not very high, so you wouldn't draw every single cabinet one after the other. You would draw the edge of the counter, and then the assumption is that there are cabinets underneath that countertop. And then another person might be asked to detail out the cabinets, but you're just giving them the overview of the entire building. So we just need to see the edge of the counter. So let's go back to our drawing here. Let's see if we have a layer for cabinets, and we don't yet, so let's make one. We're going to call these base cabinets because they go on the floor. Pick a color that you like. They should be continuous, and they should be default for line weight. And if we make base cabinets the current layer, we're good to go. How do base cabinets work? It's really simple. Base cabinets are 2 feet away from the wall. So if I start in the corner there and I type 2 feet with direct distance entry, I can come up. And if I started in the corner here and type 2 feet going straight down, I can come over. And if a little trimming goes in there, we see what we're looking at now. We've got countertop that makes like a little L shape. And the assumption again is that there's cabinets underneath. Okay, base cabinets. You can go in there if you wanted to and just check your distance, right, from here to here. How much are we talking about? Should be 2 feet. Okay, and you know, I think I might move this guy down a little bit. Just a few inches. Because it would be very realistic to put the countertop right into the door frame. Back it up a bit. Okay, so the assumption is that these are cabinets. Now there is another bit of geometry on here, and it's a dash line. It's a dash line, right? And what is going on here? So the dash line represents the wall cabinets. So these are the cabinets that are up in the air. All right, so since I need dashes, I'm going to have to make a new layer. And wall cabinet sounds like a good name for that layer. I could only spell it. No Q in wall, last time I looked. Okay, and the difference is this time the line type is not continuous, right? We're going to have to load some line types. So you're familiar with this one, right? Hidden. So how about we do hidden times 2? which is a large pattern. Hidden ×2. It's dashed lines with a small break, and it's the biggest hidden pattern. Okay, and if I go down to wall cabinet, I'm going to come from the corner out 1 foot. 1 foot, 12 inches. And I'll go all the way down. I'll go down, 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 down. Okay. Now, take a look. I've got cabinets that go down the wall here. I've got cabinets that go in front of the window. That doesn't seem very realistic. So we'll do this. We will make sure they stop before they get to the window. And we'll even move them up a little bit. Same thing as the door. We don't want to have the cabinets land in the window opening. And then we can do a little bit of filleting with the radius of 0. Corner, corner. And then on the corner here, we'll go down to here. Right, now I know what you're saying. You're probably wondering why you don't see dashes. Because didn't we make this a layer that was hidden too? So if you don't see dashes, you didn't mess up. Just look a little closer. See what's going on there? There are a bunch of dashes, but they are tiny, right? Because AutoCAD is generally set up for mechanical drawings of small mechanical parts. At least, that was the idea when it first came out. So these dashes would be great for a small object, but they are just too hard to see for this large object. So I'm going to show you a little trick that's going to help you to display those small patterns when you're working with large objects. And it's called line type scale. Line type scale. So it's the scale of the pattern in the line type. And the way you get to that setting is you type in LTS. So this isn't a command, it's a setting. LTS. It says right now, for this drawing, the scale factor for the lines is set to 1. Well, if we increase that, let's say we made it 10, enter. See, now the pattern is 10 times bigger. And it's more visible, right? If you said make it 20, look what happens. Now it's even bigger. If you said 5, well, now it's tinier. Okay, so you have to find a line type scale that works for the drawing based on the scale you're making things at. So I think 10 looked good. I was happy with 10, so we'll put it back to 10. And now we can clearly see our dashes for the wall cabinets above the base cabinets. Okay, line type scale. So I think my drawing looks pretty good, to be honest with you. At this point, all the structural elements of the building are in place. We could go in and we could set up our text to label some of these things. And again, with text, find a color that makes your heart happy. And then let's place some single line text. Start point is here. And then how about 6 inches for the height? Because this is a large drawing, right? It would need large text. Bathroom, bedroom. And you see my lazy man's way of doing text, where I just copy a bunch of text and then change it as I need to. Okay. So now the text. This is the one thing we didn't do in setup that maybe we should have thought about, and it is Arial. Arial is a terrible font, but Roman S is not very good for architectural drawings. So let's do this. Let's go in. Let's make a new text style called City Blueprint. City Blueprint, and then what do you think we're going to use for the font? You got it, City Blueprint. So apply, close, and then we'll take all of our text here, and then we will switch it over on the annotation panel to City Blueprint. Yeah, you know what? That looks just so much friendlier, doesn't it? Okay, it's a nicer font to work with. All right. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Now, there are going to be elements to the building that we're not going to do today. For example, on architectural drawings, construction documents, typically you need dimensions, right? Like here, we need dimensions to know how big the building was. Well, we are not going to go over in this class how to place dimensions, and in fact, if you've been trying to put dimensions, you've probably been a little frustrated because when you look down, after you place your dimension, you see that the text is very tiny. And not only is it very tiny, even though we're in architectural units for the drawing, the dimensions are not in architectural units. So I know that's a little frustrating. My apologies for that. The fact is that dimensioning is something that we talk about in the next class, Industrial Drawing 20A. So if you would like to learn how to make some crisp, beautiful architectural drawings, you're going to need to take the next class in the series if that fits into your schedule sometime in the future. Okay, for today, all we care about is drawing the building elements, not making perfectly annotated drawing that could be sent to the City Hall for the plan check. So, what else could we put on here, though? Well, there's a lot of things we could put on here. For example, how about in the kitchen? Appliances. You know, we'll probably have a stove somewhere, and a refrigerator, and a sink. Those are reasonable things to have on the plan. You know, those aren't things that usually get moved when a person moves. In the bathroom, having a bathtub, having a toilet, having a sink, maybe a counter, right? With a sink in the top, or two sinks. You see, these are reasonable things to expect to have in a bathroom, and we would include them also. So things that are permanent and part of the house are also going to be included in the plan. Sometimes, for a client to show them what you've envisioned, or for space planning purposes, you might even put in furniture. Like in the bedrooms, you might put in the bed. Now, look, everyone is going to move their bed out when they move out, and a new person moves in with their own furniture, right? Their own bed. But sometimes having it on the plan helps you to decide, okay, is this room big enough for a bed? For a twin-size bed? A king bed? A queen? In the bathroom, did we make the bathroom too little or too big? You know, you wouldn't really know that unless you had whatever furniture was going to go in there too. Same thing for the living room. How big is a couch? How big is a coffee table? How big is the television, right? So putting those things in is not a bad idea, especially early in the project to kind of plan things out. So let's do this. Let's make a couple more layers. Let's make a layer for fixtures and appliances. And for me, fixtures and appliances, how about this then? No slash, we'll do and. Fixtures and appliances are things that are built into the building, like the kitchen sink or the toilet. They are not the things you move when you move out. And then the other one would be furniture. Furniture is the stuff that you do move in and out when you move. And again, the carpenter doesn't need to know where you're going to put your bed, but it might be helpful for a client to see how you've planned to use the space that you've designed. So find a layer that looks good for furniture, and find a layer that looks good for fixtures and appliances. And once you got your layers, we can talk about putting some of that stuff in there. Now, it's true, you could go in there and you could draw all the things you needed. You could go measure your bed, find out how wide and how long it is, and then draw it out using lines or a rectangle. You could go to the bathroom and find out how wide your tub is and how long the tub is and draw it out. And then, you know, some of the things that you draw might be complicated, like a couch. What if you drew a couch and the couch had pillows and cushions, right? You'd probably want to group all that stuff together, kind of like we did with the doors and the windows, because it's easier to move things around. What I'm going to show you, though, is something a little bit different. It's something you've already worked with on other drawings, even though maybe you weren't aware of it. So do you remember this drawing that we worked on together, the office? Do you recall how the chair was not a bunch of lines and arcs? It was actually one object. Now, does that look like a group to you? See, if it was a group, it would have a little box around it, wouldn't it? And there'd be a grip at the very center of the box. So this is also all joined together, but you see it's got a single grip, and there's no box to show the bounding area. Same thing on the computer, same thing on the plants. These objects are not groups. These are objects called blocks. Okay, and a block is a little bit different from a group, but I want you to understand how they work. Again, we don't go deep into the discussion of what blocks are or how to work with them in this class. We just talk about basics. But it's the same idea, you know. If we're working in architectural drawings, we're going to be using doors and windows, right? And we're going to be using tubs and toilets, and we're going to be using sinks and stoves. And those are symbols we need to use over and over. So we want to replicate them. One way is to make a group, but a better way, a little bit more of an advanced way, is to make a block. Okay, so this object here is a block. If you right-clicked and went to the quick properties, it would also tell you, hey, this is a block. Okay, so that's another way to distinguish a block from a group. Okay, and you've interacted with blocks. What we're going to do is I want to show you how to take blocks from one drawing and put them in another, because we're going to be doing a little recycling. We're going to recycle some things from other drawings you've seen. There's also this file I'd ask you to download for the exercises, exercise 6B, furniture. Let's open that up. Okay, and we see it's the dual monitor computer screen and keyboard. There's a chair with handles and arms, and there's a chair without arms. So when we want to take symbols, whether they are blocks or groups or whatever, from one drawing to another drawing, very simple way of doing that. We'll use the Windows shortcut keys. For example, did you know that Control X is cut? Yeah, like a scissor, right? And Control Z is undo. So if you hold down the Control key and the Z key, it will undo your last step. Control and X is cut. Control and V is paste, because Control P was already taken for print. We can also copy. Control C is copy. And what that lets you do is it lets you copy things from one drawing application into another. This works in Word, PowerPoint, Excel. It works in every Windows-based program I've ever seen. So if you've got 6B furniture open, why don't you do this? Why don't you click on the computer, hit Control C, and then go back to the drawing you're working on, floor plan, and hit Control V. Right? And then take a look, and there is the computer attached to your cursor, and wherever you plop it, well, that's where it goes. Now, this computer, when it came in, it says it's on layer 0. I guess that's the layer it was made on. We should be able to take it, and we should be able to put it onto fixtures and appliances. Right? No, furniture. We don't want furniture because that's really stuff you move with you, right? That's not like a bathtub. And in fact, if you wanted to, right now, just set it to furniture, and then when we start putting blocks in, they will go to the layer that we are set to. Try that again. We'll get the 2 chairs. So select, Control, hold down, C is copy. Back to our drawing, Control V, paste, and we will take them and we will plop them onto the furniture layer. Okay, so these are examples of furniture. If you wanted to go over to the office, and if you feel a particular affinity to this potted plant, you can always copy that too. If you don't, it's perfectly okay. Not hurting my feelings. Alright, so here is our how to get elements from one drawing into the other. So maybe I've got a couple of chairs and a computer and a potted plant, and I want to get some more things in here. Where can I get them? Well, the fact is you can get blocks from other people's drawings if you have other drawings to work with. You can get blocks and groups off the internet. You can go to a website, type in on Google free AutoCAD blocks and see what comes up. Right? We don't want to spend any money or anything, but we can download tons of symbols for a variety of fields, whether it's construction or welding or electronics or goodness knows what, right? I've already loaded a bunch of blocks into this drawing for you, though. I thought it'd be kind of fun if I gave you some stuff to work with. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to the Insert tab, and I want you to go where it says Insert block. And you know what? We should see some blocks in here. We should see a bathtub. We should see a bed. There's a few beds. We should see a range. We should see the refrigerator. I have a couple of comfy chairs in there. Okay? I have a couple of pieces of exercise equipment too, just for fun. We have lavatories. Alright? So, these are the blocks that I put in this drawing ahead of time, so you'd have a chance to play around a little bit. Got stall showers, got all kinds of goodies in here. So if you'd like one of these things, what you do is click on it, and then as you move your cursor into the drawing, you'll see it's attached to the cursor. And if you are set to the furniture layer, well, as they come in, they will go back onto the furniture layer. Okay, now if your version of AutoCAD is prior to 2020, it's going to look like this when you go to insert blocks. If you have 2020 or 2021, it looks a little bit different. So let's talk about that.